time a civilization falls, you will get a lot of rampant sexuality, asexuality, bestiality. All of these things go rampant because it's now the soul who is unprogressive now getting a chance to reveal just how much progress he or she has not made. Heterosexuality means to have self-love. But you say, well, heterosexuality is when I have another partner. Not so. People talk about souls, twin souls, and soulmates. To have a soulmate is to be blessed because there is no difference, except one is in a female body and one is in a male body. That is done on heterosexual laws. By the way, I am not homosexual, I am very heterosexual. But I talk now as a scientist and a researcher of metaphysics, wherever the truth lay, go. In many cases, transgenderism and like transvestitism, and so again, are deviations from the mind when the brain is not sure of what it's about. Fear induces things to retaliate against it. Helpfulness and non-fear that you be comfortable with what you are and seek to understand why it works as it does. I simply will state this in summation, and it's much too big a topic to close this quickly, but it could lead into a lot of thoughts and a lot of debates and so on like that. If a soul has had a good mating at one time on a planet like Earth, understand, third grade frequency, third dimension, and falls in love, and then one part soul devours, it goes, it dies, that mate is then gone, and then they're left there, where's my mate? Sometimes the sorrow is so hardful that the person wants to die. On souls, it means that anybody can mate. Mating is done every day. Twin souls mean that there's a lot in common. Soulmates mean that they are one. In fact, they found the other self, but only expressed in a different kind of body, which lets them even enjoy each other more. But if that soul gets out of kilter, and that mate has gone on, and then it is reborn, and the other mate's still looking for the soul it didn't have, but back here not knowing where to look, especially now, again, the world is becoming smaller, still searching for something inside that is no longer inside because the person that they thought that they were with is now gone. So therefore, that other person now incarnates back. But maybe both of them now have incarnated into male bodies. Both of them incarnated into female bodies. But the bond is still there mentally. The bond is still there in the soul force, and they recognize that person in another body. Now, before, say they were heterosexual, but now one is a man and another is a man, one is a lesbian or a woman and another is a woman, and now they still feel that attraction. In many cases, when you do drugs, you can misinterpret that attraction. Because under the influence of a drug, the animal nature is brought out, the spiritual nature is suppressed. And so therefore, they're now attracted to each other there, but without the guidance of doing it without booze and liquor, they now would not even mate, even then. So now you're finding a free soul in a planet that is now quickening, that is now able to express it as they see it. And so therefore they search for their opposite in any sex, in any body that it's in. That also can be done through genes and hormones. There can be things that are applied at birth to these children in hospitals. That's why I guard women all the time having these children born in some of these hospitals where they give them 7 shots. Some of these shots messes up the brain, messes up the kind of hormones that are being secreted, and will have you loving anything you want. Many cases, again, it's been okayed now, so consequently, they feel that this is cool, this is all right. It's not even a matter of right and wrong anymore. The wrong is when you force on another person to comply with what you are. The right is when you do it freely, and therefore nobody's forcing you to do it. Many of these people are souls searching for souls. Many of these people are drug influenced. Many of these people are encrypted. And all these things go together at this time. It will straighten itself out. Because if you notice again, it used to be in the past, those that were very messed up sexually became so ravishing and horrible that they called it war. Those that had afflictions, Napoleon, a couple of others, they would begin to be homosexuals only because they wanted to inflict pain, simply meaning that not do you inflict pain if you're homosexual, they lashed out at the world mentally, and it became a physical debarkation into what we call wars. It's a very complex situation, but I gave you 4 different examples of how it can come about. It is my understanding, limited as it may be, that from roughly about 67 to 89, what they want to call Indigo babies and souls were being born. The Indigo children were those that had been killed, maimed, horribly slaughtered in wars. They were anxious to come back and get it on, to do something about it. They came back to fight or flight. Flight meant they would take somebody else out with them, or they're going to fight. They came back to get it on. What did they do? The draconic souls who operate on a higher frequency in the main, the fourth dimension, knew this was going to happen. So they set traps for those souls. And when they came in, and they knew they were here to fight them, they made them think they're supposed to fight an enemy over in Vietnam, an enemy over in Korea, an enemy in the Persian Gulf. Give them false analogies as to reasons for that to happen. And then they went off and they did what they wanted to fight. But they did not fight their enemy, they fight somebody that their enemy told them to go fight. Never realizing the mistake they'd made. And then, I know people out of the hip-hop guys are going to get pissed at this, I'm sorry. They even fought the air. If you're talking about, sure, when you have venom and unqualified channel energy release, you would do it that way. But what are you doing? You're fighting the spirits of the air around you, the selves. You're fighting your own inner consciousness. You're fighting your own animal instinct and the animal brain that they put on these bodies. What are you fighting? Why are you so angry? Directed anger can be much better used than through physical usage of it. That's what you call focused thought, whether it be for good or bad, it still works. But that way, they then put them in uniforms, so that they are all one, go fight a common enemy. The enemy was unseen, but they gave you a mortal enemy to fight. Now, that's past now. Because you see, you had those from those other empires being born into different bodies, and they had told the same thing. So then they had you fighting each other like children under reptilian control, and that's what we were. Now, you're having crystals being born. Whole different ball game now. The planet is going to higher frequency. So now these crystals can come in. They weren't fixing to come back in then because they're advanced souls. Now with these crystals, they're born with eyes wide open, spines erect. They're born with knowledge and understanding and wisdom. They can work with animals and insects. They can work with vibrations of the air. They can work with fire, water, all the elements. And they can even work with the mothers while in the womb and the fathers out of the womb. They are a very advanced type of people. They're not here with hate. They're here to understand what makes for hate and how to change it to love. These are the children now will be given the energies and powers that we say we want, but don't qualify for by our very actions. What are they doing to them? Trying to give them 7 shots at birth, including hepatitis C. Trying to give them booster shots. Give them all the pharmaceutical, PHARM, okay? 7,000 pharmaceutical things in Merck's Index, United States Depository of Pharmaceutical Medicine. Give them all these drugs to lower their vibration, and even still give them half a chance. Their metabolism is such that they will still try to get rid of those drugs. What it's doing is slowing down the inevitable. The planet is going upward. These souls that are coming in are already in higher vibration. They will either help, or when they come together and really hinder, you haven't seen death and destruction yet. Not that they're killers, but they will bring forth through them the consciousness of higher authority, which will not set. You can't live 1 minute when this planet is going to the 5th dimension and you hold an evil thought. You automatically killed yourself or allow death to come in at will. So it's a change now in matter, in time, and in space. It's a change in consciousness, a change in subconsciousness, and a change in outer consciousness. It means that now these souls, and through us, and through them, if we will listen to them, we can begin to do, while even in the flesh, higher things, not making the mistake of slipping backwards because the child should lead them, as it is many